¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
everybody. Sorry about that, folks. Give me 1 second. It's a little bit dark here. Let me try this again. Howdy, welcome. Okay, that's a little better. Wolfglen, howdy. Michael Hassler, Heat, how's it going? Welcome. Quad Bennett on the YouTube. Hi, howdy, welcome, everybody. Firefly, welcome. Sorry about that, folks. We have some interesting developments on the Discord. Apparently, Discord has now given some. I don't know if it's what they mean by certain users. They mean like only like server owners can do it, but apparently polls are now a thing in Discord. So for movie night, we can finally get actual proper polls in the community polls section. We can finally do it. Probably like one of the most useful updates that I've seen as of late in terms of Discord, because that is huge in my opinion. I think that having the ability to just do like polls is nice. Welcome, Echoresto Dragon. Welcome. So yeah, whenever I click on the little icon thing, it says only certain users. Polls are in beta testing and can only be created by certain users. I'm gonna assume that what they mean is that the server owners can create the polls as of right now, and maybe they'll expand that later. All right, folks, we got a lot to go through, and not much time. Make sure I got everything ready. All right, I think that's good. Looks like it. I just tested it. I can make polls on my server, right? But you're the server owner. You're the server owner, so I think that's what it is. In my opinion. Can't do it on yours. Yeah, okay. That must be it. That must be it. I can make events, exactly. There you go. Alright, folks, let's get started. I think we should probably start with this one, huh? What to drink and sparkling water, the blackberry lemonade. General Strike, welcome. Alright, let's get started, folks.
If you're making $20 an hour to work at a fast food restaurant, right? Is that 6 figures?
Millionaire part-time Fox News host and
So just that comment in and of itself is absolutely laughable. It really does illustrate just how out of touch just how out of touch these people are. To like assume that just you make $20 an hour is 6 figures? 6 figures? At $20 an hour? The math ain't mathin', bro. All jobs deserve a living wage. Yes, that's right.
And full-time dipshit Jesse Waters was on the PBD podcast, which I believe stands for P-Male Bacon Daddy, and went on a wide
6 figures maybe at 50 an hour? Not even. Wait, hold on. Maybe my math ain't mathin'. 50 an hour would be... No, I don't think so. Would it? I don't know. Before taxes. Because, like, you'd have to make 6 figures would be, like, in the 100,000s, right? If I make 50 an hour, and I work 40 hours, and there are, close, maybe. Say 50 weeks. Gotcha. Yeah, allow for a little vacay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks. Yeah, just a tiny one, you know? A long weekend. You allocate a long weekend for yourself, okay? How much was it? It was close. I think like just by the quick maths, it was like just under, like it was like 96,000, wasn't it? No, I might have missed the calculation, but it was close enough for me. Yeah, $50 an hour tracks. It was close enough.
wild rant about how wealthy McDonald's workers are.
Yeah.
So, as you watch
This
this,
is
take
just
note
so-
of the
This is just so laughable.
math that he clearly cannot do.
If you're making $20 an hour to work at a fast food restaurant, right? Is that 6 figures? Are you making
No, you're
No,
making
no.
40 grand.
50,
40 grand.
50 is just to exit and add a few zeros.
Okay, so
40K a year,
okay,
full time.
40K a year.
Yeah.
Roughly. Roughly.
So and then if your husband or wife is also there, you're making $100,000 as a family.
Sure.
Both working
Wait.
at McDonald's.
80
Yes.
grand.
That is
What? He can't be that dumb. No, he is. They're just so out of touch. This is like when you ask, oh man, what was that? The person that they asked, like, oh, how much is a banana? Yeah. They're just so out of touch. Wolf Glen, welcome. Jesse Waters is the dumbest idiot. Yeah. I mean, we are dealing with the PBD podcast, so.
okay. That's crazy. That is crazy, because that job really doesn't require.
Dude, that's crazy. Crazy. That's crazy that, like, workers, including fast food workers, are getting paid still below cost of living. It's crazy, dude. I mean, he broadcasts from a locker room. What a tool. True. True. Yeah, there you go. How much is a banana? That's what I was thinking. Thank you. That's it right there. How much is a banana? Like $10? It's literally same energy here.
Require much. So it's inflating the entire, labor sector
And the Happy Meal.
and the Happy Meal,
Unhappy, very unhappy.
which
Inflating the entire labor section. What does that mean? Also, increasing the Happy Meal? Who gives a shit? Like, do you know how much actually the Happy Meal is going to increase? Like a freaking quarter, man. Okay? You know how we know this? Because that's how people do it in freaking Europe. what is it now? Like mid 100,000 a year to even hope to try to get a modest home that's been around for more than half a century, if that, depending on where you are. Yeah. Ask him how much a gallon of milk is. Either he doesn't know or it's close to $10 because he buys bougie ass local small farm milk in the glass bottle. Yep. Maori Meteor, hasn't the takeaway places been raising prices for the last few decades? Correct. Everything's been going up, but it's not because workers are making a living wage. Correct. Like the fact that like workers get like a raise to like 20, but they're talking about the California law. That honestly, like the actual increase of prices because of the wage increase is negligible in comparison to all the benefits that the workers are getting for the pay increase. Like if you're gonna complain that your Big Mac now costs like freaking 30 cents, 25 cents more than like whatever. Mouselander, welcome. The Happy Meal is cheaper in Denmark and workers get 16 to 17 an hour. Yep. This baker was talking about how he can't make pan de huevo anymore because eggs are just too expensive. Yeah, yeah. Eggs are right. Eggs, milk, yeah, all of it.
So I'm very unhappy about.
All right, man, this guy makes millions of dollars a year at Fox News. And he apparently thinks that making $20 an hour means you're making six figures. Look, the math for me isn't even the worst part of this clip. We'll get to what I think the worst part is. But how stupid do you have to be to think making $20 an hour means you're making six figures? And then so to try and formulate this argument that he's trying really hard to make, he then has to bring in, well then how about the spouse? I guess they're making 40K too. So 40K plus 40K equals $100,000? You failed at math twice in that clip in two very obvious ways. Now look, I'm not good at math either, but to me, this shows more of a disconnect.
Yeah, that's really what it is. It's a massive disconnect. Record profits year after year after year is why they've raised their prices. Got to keep chasing that. Gotta keep chasing that profit. Exactly. I'm good at math and water sucks. Yep, true. I'm not that great at math, to be honest. I'm terrible at math as well, but that only indicates how bad Waters is, or how out of touch this dude is.
With the working class than anything else. This is a guy who day in, day out argues for Donald Trump, argues on behalf of massive corporations.
Right, like that's the incentive, right? That's the incentive. Of course he has to like try to make these absurd statements. Right, they never hired him to be smart. They hired him to perform class warfare, to tell you that apparently $20 is too good for you. $20 is too good. That's too much, okay? What is that like? Six figures? Okay.
While pretending he's on your side as the viewer, while pretending he is arguing for the working class, when this guy thinks $20 an hour means six figures. This shows you how deep his hatred really is for the working class.
Yeah.
To be this completely disconnected and to argue, like, would you care? Would you care if McDonald's workers were making $100,000 a year?
Not really.
Would that really bother you?
Nope. If McDonald's workers make $100K a year, that would be like a pretty decent freaking salary to finally be able to like afford a decent living. Heck yeah. Can't get draconian employment laws if you don't try and get people mad to support them. True. In most states, McDonald's workers get around $15,000 before taxes and healthcare. Yep. I feel less bad about indulging in that garbage. Heat with the 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That wouldn't bother me. Why would I care? Like, how would that negatively impact my life in any way? Oh, maybe the McDonald's burgers will go up a few cents. Oh, God. Oh, no. The end of the world. That people actually making the food there, actually producing the profits for the massive company, that they may be able to make somewhat of a living if they're working there. How terrible. It's just, it's insane to me. I would take Jesse Waters' job, not on Fox News, but I'm saying generally as a host. I would take the job of a television host 1,000 times over working at McDonald's. Doing what I do here is much easier than working at McDonald's. Why do you, and again, for me, it's not even about the work. It's about the fact that these are people contributing to a company making massive profits where the vast majority of that cash goes to the C-suite, goes to people at the top of that company. The whole company, of course, geared towards shareholders. Why would it bother me? Why would it bother anybody in the least that workers there actually make a living wage? So this, for me, really showcases, and look, we don't need this clip to tell us this. This is
class warfare. Okay, that's what it is. Kamikaze, welcome. Howdy.
Very obvious if you watch any of these shows, but this really showcases the complete disconnect that these corporate types like Jesse Waters have with the rest of society.
True. And make no mistake, it's on purpose, okay? It's on purpose to paint that picture, right? Because like if you say something like so absurd on its face, right? Like, oh, McDonald's workers now want $20 an hour? What is that, like 6 figures? Come on, what do they want next? Mansions? Like I do? My rent is more than $15,000 a year. Jesus Christ. But make no mistake, it's on purpose. It's on purpose. All right, let's shift gears here. Folks, before we continue, don't forget, if you haven't done so, please consider following the channel. You guys are what makes this channel grow, so I appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the follows. I see you on YouTube. Thank you. Subscribe, do all the awesome stuff. Join the Discord if you guys want to keep up with the channel. DRJ the Destroyer, boomers like to feel superior to people working in burger joints. True. True. That's like a famous pastime. God forbid people in the restaurant or fast food sector make more money. But what would they do without those very workers, right? That's what's fascinating about that dynamic, right? They constantly complain and belittle and look down upon the very people that are literally serving them, while unable to unable or unwilling to grasp what it would mean if those workers didn't exist. All right, let's shift gears here. You shouldn't piss off people that are touching your food. True, but also like just to add to that, like don't like just to add to that as well, like you know, even just to add to that, like not only are these people making your food, but they're the people that like make that entire operation run. Like you can't you just can't simultaneously say that you want to enjoy these things and belittle the very personnel that make it go. It's just bizarre. But yes, true. Welcome, Read and Rap. Let's see, Jesse. Got cut off? You meant, let's see Jesse flip burgers?
My opponent, my opponent.
Give me 1 second, folks. Okay. Yeah, teachers who deal with your snotty kids, retail workers who sell you your threads, dog washers who clean your pooch, go on one day. I was saying, let's see him work at a McDonald's for 1 month and see how he feels afterwards. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, we should, what's that? I saw like a post. This is like a common post. So I don't know where it originated. Could be Twitter, could be Facebook. I'd say it's something to the effect of like, we should have a reality TV show where all these like, super wealthy people, these CEOs have to do the jobs of their workers at the same pay with no access to anything else, with no access to any of their resources, nothing. And they have to live just like their workers, no access to resources, like undercover boss, but like they have no access to anything else. And like the purpose isn't to like, surprise your employees. But to live like them. I don't believe I'd want Jesse Waters touching my food. Fair point. Not even boomer CEOs, just boomers. True. Yeah, just boomers.
My opponent, a liberal Democrat named Colin Allred, is outraising Beto O'Rourke, my last opponent, 3-1. They are flooding millions of dollars into Texas. And the reason is simple. You remember my last reelect? It was a 3-point race. I won by 2.6%.
Uh-oh. Looks like someone's sweating. Sweating. If Ted Cruz loses, is he gonna go back to Cancun? Looks like the beard is winning this battle. Is winning this battle with Teddy. Texas should send Ted Cruz packing back to Cancun.
Ted Cruz is sweating right now because the race between him and his Democratic opponent, Colin Allred, is a little bit too close for comfort. Now, I think that his internal polls may be painting a bit more of a bleak picture than state polls because it admittedly doesn't look that bad for him. As you can see, he does have a comfortable lead in most polls, although some polls do show that they're tied. But when you factor in how Democrats have been overperforming polls lately, those ties look a bit more alarming. Furthermore, when you look at the results from 2018, he only won by 2.6 points, as he pointed out in that video. So when you take into consideration Colin Allred's massive fundraising numbers, it begins to look pretty bad for Ted Cruz. and he knows it looks bad, which is why he's getting desperate. So much so that he's practically begging for money now on Fox News, then running said video of him begging as an ad on Twitter. For example,
The Dems have to get Texas to keep the Senate. Oof. If that's the case, if that's the case, man, oof, that's not good, because like even though Ted Cruz is sweating right now, I think at least like a couple more, at least 1 or 2 cycles more. And then I'd feel more confident about Texas, but I think he still might win it. I think he still might win it.
he's been running this ad on Twitter for weeks now.
I'm right now, as you know, in a very tough re-election race in Texas. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer has made clear I'm his #1 target. The Democrats intend to spend over $100 million to defeat me in Texas.
Because they have to.
We just had a poll last week that showed it as a 1-point race, and yet we can expect Mitch again not to spend any money to defend me, which means the only way that we hold on is if the folks watching this show go to tedcruz.org right now, go online to tedcruz.org, make a contribution of 5, 10, 20.
Dems are becoming so right, even Republicans are confused. Such a brave soldier. 6-day account. FADT Glory in Russia. Is that website an official campaign donation site or donating to Ted directly? That's a good question. tedcruz.org. I'm fighting. Wait, I'm fighting for Texas. Unwoke. How to defeat cult. Oh, no. Welcome, Carpe. Welcome. It's a real website. I think it's his campaign. I think it's his campaign site. Unwoke, how to defeat cultural Marxism. Oof. In America. Yeah. Another, I guess another fascist manifesto. Unwoke by Ted Cruz. So his book is basically called Asleep. Right, because you know, make sure that you're not paying attention, okay? Yeah, asleep. Our institutions have gone woke. Everybody knows that. Everybody. But nobody has come up with a way to stop it until now. Oh god. Ted's been asleep most of his life. Yeah, I think this is just I think this is just his campaign stuff. Bro, I'm not gonna donate to you. Get out of here. Oh, okay. So if you click on donate, it opens up a different tab for donations. Yeah, 1 click to donate $3,000. No, I'm good. Meet Ted. expanding 529 college saving accounts to allow parents to save for K-12 public, private, and religious education. Repealing Obamacare's individual mandate, imposing sanctions on terrorists who use civilians as human shields, designating North Korea. These are accomplishments. As a state sponsor of terrorism, targeting Putin's Nord Stream pipeline through multiple bills that halted the construction and kept it stalled. Reauthorizing and reforming NASA, holding dictatorships in South America accountable. Thanks, Ted. Ensuring the availability of additional records to help solve civil rights cold cases. Ending the Department of Defense's unjust COVID vaccine mandate. He's also leading the fight to support Texas jobs, hold big tech accountable to the American people, secure the border, and fundamentally reassess the U.S.-China relationship, and hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable for covering up the COVID pandemic. True. Committing human rights atrocities and engaging in censorship, propaganda, and espionage. Oh, is a type of tuition. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's my bad. What mandate? I don't know. I guess like some government jobs in the Department of Defense had vaccine rules. Oh no. In addition to serving the Senate, yada yada yada. Okay. You know, I don't think I want to meet Ted. I'm good. Let's get out of here.
$25, $50, $100 because my race,
Yeah, the military is pretty big on readiness and having everyone vaccinated. Yeah, God forbid. God forbid, you know, the unjust, the unjust DOD mandate to making sure that, you know, I hope he got to eat steak. Wait, did Ted go on a mandate? Good for him.
support is not from the big money special interests in Washington, D.C. It is from constitutional conservatives across the country who go to tedcruz.org and who help give me the resources to withstand $100 million from these left-wing Democrats and Marxists who are...
True. Known. True. You know what? When I think of Marxists, I think of the Democratic Party.
Trying to invade this country and destroy this country.
Wait, they're trying to invade this country. From where? Is he saying that Texas is its own separate country? I think that's what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that they're trying to invade Texas. The hordes of Marxist, leftist, socialist, Democrats. All these states trying to revive 1800 policies. Yep. He's saying Democrats and Marxists aren't really American, so they don't count. Gotcha. I mean, that actually makes sense. That actually makes sense that he thinks this way.
Nothing screams desperation like cutting up a Fox News appearance as an ad. Just amazing stuff here. Now, what stood out to me was him saying that his donations are not coming from big money special interests. What? Yes, they are. We can see who's funding your campaign. It's not small dollar donations from constitutional conservatives. Your money comes from big money special interests. His top campaign contributors include AIPAC, a genocidal organization that lobbies on behalf of a foreign government that is, by the way, bankrolled by GOP billionaires. There's also Club for Growth, a conservative PAC bankrolled by GOP billionaires like Jeffrey Yass, and not to mention the individual donations from Boeing, Delta Airlines, and Blackstone. And these donations do not include leadership PACs. But when it does come to individual donors, it's not like he doesn't have any small grassroots donors, because he does. Small donations under $200 make up about 47% of his overall campaign contributions. Now, that number is comparable to Republican senators, including Mitch McConnell, where donations less than $200 make up about 50% of his overall campaign contributions. Now, no one would argue that Mitch McConnell relies on mostly small donations from constitutional conservatives, because that would be absurd, right? The trick is that all of this is hidden through dark money being funded through super PACs, but not just super PACs. When it comes to Ted Cruz, we're talking about shady podcast deals as well, because as Rolling Stone reports, quote, Cruz is
again, like, you know, he can just go on and say this stuff and these conservatives will believe it. It doesn't matter. What mush brain donates to that clown? Too many, unfortunately. Besides the big moneyed interests that have a vested interest to make sure that Ted Cruz does, you know, their bidding. Welcome, Conscious Canuck. His wife has worked for JP Morgan, Chase, and Goldman Sachs. Yeah. Man of the people. That's right, Ted Cruz is Canadian. Texas is like a whole other country, but it's not.
Fundraising concerns may explain a very shady financial arrangement the senator has with iHeartMedia, the hosting platform of his podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. Last week, the Houston Chronicle reported that the radio network paid out $630,000 to a Cruz-affiliated super PAC, Truth and Courage. According to FEC data reviewed by the Chronicle, the six-figure sum represents about a third of the PAC's fundraising haul since 2023. The Lose Cruz PAC, a political action committee challenging the senator's re-election, first reported a $214,000 transfer from iHeartMedia to Truth and Courage in March. A Cruz campaign spokesperson told the Chronicle that the senator appears on Verdict 3 times a week for free. A representative from the company said the funds were the proceeds of sales for the podcast's advertising inventory, and that Cruz volunteers his time to host this podcast and isn't compensated for it. That's bullshit. But if iHeartMedia is sending massive checks to a PAC affiliated with his re-election campaign, is there really no benefit to Cruz? Right. Quote, it is really sad.
Yeah. It's de facto paying. Yeah, don't come here not wanting to be mad. True.
What's happening to the media, Cruz said when asked about how he could reconcile the payments with his claims he isn't compensated for the podcast. The media exists right now seemingly to parrot left-wing Democratic attacks. Yes, because how dare the lefty media ask questions about this incredibly shady podcast deal that he has with iHeartRadio, who not only funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars into his super PAC, but hasn't disclosed the terms of this deal between them and Ted Cruz to the public. Now, to be clear, this is a violation of campaign finance laws, hence why ethics watchdogs at the Campaign Legal Center and End Citizens United filed an FEC complaint against him. Now, whether or not a federal probe will actually be opened up has yet to be determined, but I mean, if it's illegal,
yeah, doubt it, but hey.
To coordinate with your super PAC, yet iHeartRadio is seemingly compensating him for his podcast by donating directly to his super PAC. Does it not logically follow that he is effectively soliciting donations for his super PAC by hosting a free show for iHeartRadio?
I mean, like, yeah, logically that's how that gets interpreted. But like, I'm pretty sure that like the way things work, I'm pretty sure there's some kind of weird loophole behind the scenes there, where like some BS technicality is allowing him to do that. Because that wouldn't surprise me either. That wouldn't surprise me either.
I mean, it's suspicious at a minimum, but it's not unreasonable to expect that this is an arrangement that they made, and we just don't have the details. But you know, if they release the terms of the agreement, well, that's one thing, right? They can prove that there's no quid pro quo going on here and that there's no illegal coordination between him and his super PAC. but they haven't done that. Hence why there needs to be a federal investigation, hence why an FEC complaint was filed, because this looks really, really suspicious. But what was it that he was saying again about needing money from working class Republicans?
And I'll tell you how we're fighting back against it. You've got the Democrat fat cats, you've got big tech, you've got celebrities writing checks to my opponent. We're supported by millions of Americans, millions of conservatives all across this country that go to our website. It's tedcruz.org. They go to tedcruz.org. They give $25 or $50 or $100. That's how we stand up to the George Soroses and the Chuck Schumers.
Oh, no, no, no. So we have the defeating cultural Marxism, and now we have the George Soroses. Got it. Cool. Thanks, Ted. Of course, he's from Calgary, ground zero for Canadian conservatism. Yeah. And now he's here. How do you feel about that, Conscious Canuck? And now he's here.
And the Mark Zuckerbergs is the $25 and $50 at tedcruz.org, because we got to fight to defend Texas if we lose.
Man, that's so freaking weird, dude. Oh, dude, that's so freaking... Dude's not beating the Nazi accusations, right? Dude's making zero efforts to beating the Nazi accusations, huh? Whew. Yikes. How is the oldest human in the universe, George Soros, such a busy man? No one knows. No one knows. But, man, the George Soroses, Mark Zuckerberg, Chuck Schumer. Whew. Yikes.
Lose Texas, we lose the whole country.
Oh, that's right. See, he is full of shit, and he's trying to dupe working class Republicans into giving him their hard-earned cash.
Yeah, so there's a name for that. There's a name for faux right-wing populism. There's a word for that. He has a lot to do taking over Kissinger. Big shoes, Ted. Big shoes. Fascism. Bingo bango. Yeah, he seems to have unlimited amount of time and money. Oh, I thought you meant Soros. Oh, I mean, like, you know, it works for Ted Cruz, I guess, because he's cool, but I don't know, like, if he has the same like, Ted Cruz has the same, you know, does Ted Cruz have the same capability as Kissinger? Probably not. That's what I thought. But I see. I misinterpreted what you put, but yeah. Now I understand. That's my bad.
When his billionaire sugar daddies are already subsidizing the cost of his campaign. He wants Republicans to think that he's fighting, you know, these powerful interests in Washington, when in actuality, the powerful interests are in his pocket. He already sold his soul to them.
Right. I think, just think back to that photo of him making phone calls for Trump with that face. Yeah. So again, as Carpet pointed out, yeah, the word for this right wing faux populism is fascist. Fascism. Cosmic seeking. Welcome. Happy Wednesday.
But regardless, this is going to be a difficult race for Ted Cruz, and his desperation is absolutely palpable, and you love to see it. But it just feels like especially dirty that he's now trying to guilt trip regular people into giving him their money, because this is a scam. Like, if you give this man your money, you are a rube, because he's not fighting for you. He's fighting for the special interests he's pretending to oppose. He's fighting for his donors, not working class people. So if you give him your money, you are being duped. So don't do it. Now, with that being said, I genuinely hope that Ted Cruz loses, because that would be the most hilarious thing imaginable. And I think that it might be closer than his 2018 campaign between him and Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, it's going to be probably, like, in the electoralism point of view, it's probably going to be another couple of cycles before I can be more confident to say that there's a possibility that Texas will flip. He wants to bleed money from bigoted working class, proof that both parties are maintaining the movement of money out of the working people's hands. Our political system's job is to maintain the conditions of wage slavery. Yes. There is one thing that is common, and I believe, well, not one. That's a bit not bombastic. What is the word I'm looking for? Exaggerated. But the point being is that there are certain things that are across the board, bipartisan, as one would say, and maintaining the conditions of wage slavery is a bipartisan issue. But that's for sure. No doubt about it.
We'll just have to wait and see. Either way, it looks great for Colin Allred right now. He also has the name recognition. This is a former NFL player. So Ted Cruz is right to feel threatened. But that doesn't mean that you get to form these shady podcast deals to funnel money into your super PAC. That's not acceptable. Desperation is not an excuse for corruption.
Yeah, unfortunately, these people don't care about that. These people don't care. Not at all. Not at all. Like, the idea of being ethical or principled and have some kind of sense to be to do the right thing. That's not what's going on in there. That's not what's happening in Ted Cruz's mind.
Truth Social. Well, I guess technically Trump Media and Technology, which Truth Social is a part of. The DJT stock is in an absolute free fall, and I am loving every second of it.
Yeah. So, hey, where are the go woke, go broke people? Where are those people? Crying over their apes. True.
As of right now, Trump Media and Technology, since it was, launched 2 weeks ago on the stock market, has now lost half of its value. It went from a high of $79 a share to this week, $36 per share.
Man, going the way of an NFT, going the way of crypto, huh? Ethics and principles are not in the dictionary of U.S. politics. True, desperately scrambling to get more money. Go Trump, get trumped. Yeah, there you go. That's the new hashtag we need to get going. Go Trump, get trumped. Desperately scrambling to get more money. Man, he should have cashed out. He should have cashed out while the going was good. That's what you're supposed to do in these short pump and dump schemes. Okay? You're supposed to cash out at the high point and peace out.
And falling, which means it's still going down. It closed at 40 on Friday, closed at 36 on Monday. Tuesday at the open, down, 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 down. It is almost breathtaking to watch how quickly the stock in this company is just headed for the ground. And the thing I love about it, just like I said from the very beginning, is that I predicted all of this. And I'm not the only one. I'm not saying I'm, clairvoyant about this. It was very predictable. But of all the times I've been right, I have never been more right than I was about what was going to happen with Trump's stock. And let me add this. It's gotten even better this week. Not the stock price, of course, but the lack of faith in the company. See, Devin Nunes went on Fox News this past weekend, and he was asked by Maria Bartiromo, she's like, hey, when's Truth Social going to turn a profit? He couldn't answer. Instead, he went on like a multi-paragraph rant about things that don't even matter, about things that are totally not true, which, for the record, actually creates a lot of legal problems for him when I get to.
Oh, flash in the pan schemes have to be carefully timed. He could not cash out for 6 months by law. Oh, okay. Gotcha. He can still, he can't sell his shares until October. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. It's a meme stock, so his price collapse was guaranteed. People don't donate to Ted Cruz. People donate to the mouthpiece in their district who's fighting the crazy devilish infernal maniacal, satanic, apparition, Bolshevist, comrade, leftist, Maoist, Marxist, red, socialist, Stalinist, sympathizer, Trotsky, Democrat. I mean, they honestly, you had me, but Republicans don't use that many words. Republicans don't use that many words. Okay, they just stop at like they're only capable of going as far as saying radical left-wing socialist Marxist Democrats. That's about as far as it goes. Okay, never mind like these people actually having intellectual curiosity as to what a Trotsky it is, or what a Maoist or Bolshevik is. Although no, they have used Bolshevik before. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. Yeah, woke. Yeah, woke, the radical woke left, socialist Marxist, Democrats. There you go. Yeah, the new 4-letter word. Yeah.
To that in a minute. But he couldn't answer the basic question of like, when do you think you'll turn a profit? Devin, you're the CEO of the damn company. When are you going to make money? But when he said that we're doing something no other social media company has ever done, that's not true. You're literally a knockoff of Twitter. And saying a false statement like that as a CEO is not going to get you in trouble. Making a false statement like that from a CEO of a publicly traded company? Regulators could very easily make the case that, hey, you were saying these things to pump up the stock,
right,
when you had nothing to back it up and it was lies. Therefore, that's security fraud, buddy. Yeah.
True. Using Marxist instead of Bolshevik is a broader brush. Yep. Occasionally you get those subterranean weasels who actually do read and break out the college words. Yeah, I mean, those would be your more sinister fascists who actually literally mean what Carpre was talking about, who literally mean like cultural Marxism in the context of kind of replacing it from the Nazi shit from the Nazi term from cultural Bolshevism. Oof. That's funny. Loser! Honestly, I just copy pasted a thesaurus. That's funny.
Donald Trump, same thing last week. He goes out on Truth Social and he says, All of the competitors to Truth Social, especially those in the radical left Democrat Party who are failing at every level, like to use their vaunted disinformation machine to try and convince people, and it is not easy to do, that truth is not such a big deal and doesn't get the word out as well as various others, which they know to be false. Trump's pumping up the company, which is a publicly traded company, with lies. You can't do that. Like, Trump can go out there and lie about the Trump Organization and their finances and their success all he wants because it's a privately owned company. But when it's a publicly traded company and you're in the leadership position and you're making claims that could boost the stock prices and those claims are false, that is 100% illegal. I mean, people do go to jail for that. So Devin and Donald, y'all got to be careful about what y'all are saying now, because every word you utter is going to be under scrutiny. It's a publicly traded company. The stock is not even circling the drain anymore. It's already going into the drain. It's not even a roller coaster. It's not like there's ups and downs. No, this is just Tower of Terror. You are at the top and you're plummeting to the bottom. And again, I am loving every second of this.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. What is this? I'm so confused. Anyways. Trump Social isn't going to last a year. It's an ad for a game that doesn't actually exist. Yeah, I'm sure. I've seen so many freaking videos for these type of games. It's a scam. Yeah, it's a scam for a mobile game. I just don't understand, like, what is it actually? What is it actually? When you download this, what are you getting? Because everything that I've seen has pointed out that, like, that's not actually how, like, the game is, and, like, what is even the point of the game? It's just all so bizarre. It does exist, but it's a huge money sink. Got it. Because, like, I've seen other ads where it's like, oh, have you seen all the other mobile ads when you play it? It doesn't look like the actual game. Well, this game is real. It looks just like it. Okay. Oh, just a dumb click-through game with cutscenes. Yeah, but, like, man, this is so weird. You're curious. I guess the ad worked. No, it didn't, because I'm not clicking on that. I'm not clicking on that. Okay? Here is former Speaker McCarthy really airing out his grievances as to why he is not speaker anymore, and pay attention mainly to, like, the framing of this, because I think that's I think that's where it's what's important out of this. Just out of an abundance of caution, Whoa, hey, come back. How did that happen? Oh, okay. Just out of an abundance of caution, I'll throw up the content warning. I'll throw up the good TW. All right, Kevin, take it away.
So was it this? You made a lot of concessions in the negotiations.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Okay. Is that
Let's get to the bottom of that.
Right?
That is such a misnomer in life. Let me give you the truth about that now.
All right, give it to us, Kevin. Give us the truth, all right?
I'll give you the truth why I'm not speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old. An ethics complaint that started before I ever became speaker, and that's illegal, and I'm not going to get in the middle. Did he do it or not? I don't know. But an ethics is looking at it. There's other people in jail because of it.
My brother in Christ. What do you call a grown... allegedly. What would you call a grown-ass man sleeping with a 17-year-old? What exactly would you call that? I mean, I still think he needs to see justice. 100%. His buddy went to jail. Kevin's not wrong on that part. His buddy went to jail. Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly. What would you call a grown-ass man sleeping with a 17-year-old? I'm pretty sure there's a freaking word for that, you know? Congressman Seinfeld? Whew. True.
And he wanted me to influence it. And you know what? So then they come out and they say, because I kept government open. I'd do it all over again. We're not going to pay our troops? No, I'm going to pay my troops. You can't do the job? Okay. When it comes to the concession, the motion to vacate about one person being able to make that motion, how long has that been in the rules? Forever. The only time it was changed is when Pelosi became Speaker the second time. And she put the power with the minority leader. I think it's wrong. I think you can let them govern. Now, it takes 218 to have the rule package. There's nothing I can do there. But
A bunch of wise guys. Depends on the state, Jerry Lee Lewis.
I had 5 people who never voted for me anyways in the process. I had 8 at the end that did the other. But everybody had to live by it. I lived by it. I think today, if you went back to the people that vote, did they think that was a smart vote? I don't think so. I had the choice of having that vote of motion to vacate where you just put the cards in and walk away. No, I made everybody stand up. Because I think historically, it'll be viewed as a very bad thing that happened to our Congress.
Do you think it happens again? I mean, there's now talk that it could happen to this speaker.
No. 2 things. The Dems will never let it happen. The interesting part is, you want another inside story? Okay.
Not this crowd.
So I knew I needed to win the majority by 20 votes or I'd have a problem. So I knew on election night I had a problem. But I had tried for speaker before, and I made a bad interview, and I had to pull out. But as leader, I had never lost a race. I helped us win a majority. I expanded it. I thought I was best prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, so first of all, it's pretty disgusting. And it's pretty gross that this is being framed as just like some as like, because he's talking about Matt Gaetz, right? There's no secret about that. But the framing here is that this grown ass man, Matt Gaetz, just slept with an underage girl, a 17-year-old. That's incredibly gross. And the fact that he was under investigation, which I believe, in my last knowledge, has not been closed. Caused a ethics complaint. Again, before this guy was speaker. So basically, Matt Gaetz took that rule change opportunity to torpedo that. It just really shows that, like, these people are absolutely disgusting. Not to mention, part of the investigation was to determine whether or not they committed trafficking. They committed sex trafficking. They are violent, pretty. They are violent, petty, and in charge of the country. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, that is the case. Jeez, I just saw this one. I just saw this one. Whew. Yikes. Biden promised George Floyd's family that he wouldn't just become another hashtag. Then he increased Trump's police funding and militarization, resulting in record-breaking cop murders. 4 plainclothes cops just shot a black man 100 times for not wearing a seatbelt. This tracks, honestly. Join the Discord. Yes, true. Oh, and I just saw this one. Thank you, Firefly. So we talked yesterday about the 1864 Arizona abortion, or was it the day before? I don't know. Recently enough. And the guy that authored this, as this person put here in this post, some fun facts: he abandoned his first wife and their children in Missouri. His second wife was a 12-year-old Mexican girl He abducted her, and after a complaint, submitted his resignation to President Buchanan before he was fired. In 1864, age 49, he married his third wife, a 15-year-old girl he abandoned in 1865 when he moved to Hawaii. This is the guy that wrote the law that millions of Arizona women will be forced to obey. His life is a series of grifts, and he was known for being a pursuer of nubile females. Oh dear. There's one more. His fourth wife was a 15-year-old Hawaiian native, died in Hawaii from smallpox. He then married his fifth wife, who divorced him less than 2 years later on grounds of multiple instances of adultery by her husband. Nice. And Fu Manchu, he also pointed out, just to kind of go a step further, all of this happened, by the way, before Arizona was even a state. So the legal question, like, of how this is even possible is like, why is a law that was enacted before Arizona was Arizona, was that even legal? Why is that even legal? Hopefully, there's some grounds there to wasn't it a territory? Yes, it was. It didn't become a state until 19 something. 40 what? 50, just about. This is just an estimate. Just about 50 years before it became a state, like officially a state. But that means that they had to ratify it as a state law too. As far as I know, it was just pre-law for a second. Gotcha. But like, it technically not being a state doesn't matter because it was a territory. So therefore, the law could technically stand on that ground. Is that what you're saying? Just guaranteed Joe Biden, Arizona. Probably. If enough people are angry at that issue, yes. The more I learn about every single aspect of this country's history, I'm more disgusted. Yeah, I mean, if what's the saying? What's the saying, or not idiom? If you're reading history and 1912, there you go. If you're reading history and you feel some kind of nostalgia or pride, then you're not reading history, or something to that effect. Like if you're reading history and you get a sense of pride, then you're not really reading history. Because oh boy, I think if they didn't do the proper procedure to make it a state law, this whole thing is moot. Gotcha. Which is why it isn't taught. Yep. You're seeing history as a scoreboard for white supremacy if you're cheering it. Yeah, I mean, that's another way of putting it. Oh, so gross. These people are freaking gross. I've got one more. So first they're complaining that millennials and Gen Zers, young people, are splurging out because checks notes. They buy groceries. The majority of their spending is groceries. And they complained about quiet quitting. Now, here's the new term, folks. New term just dropped. New workplace trend. Resenteeism is how do we? This isn't a word. Resenteeism. Resenteeism has employees working less hard because they hate their jobs. Hey, have you tried making the workplace a more hospitable place? Have you tried that one? What's the difference between this and quiet quitting? Quiet quitting was them complaining that corporations complaining that people were doing the bare minimum based on their salary. They were complaining that people weren't just like willing to go the extra mile when they're not paid to do that. Now apparently resenteeism. Acting your wage. There you go. That's exactly it. Acting your wage. Versus now, it's like, oh well, now I can't. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. Now employees are working less hard because they don't enjoy their work. Whose fault is that? So like working less hard because they hate their jobs. Yeah, that's what this is. That's the new trend apparently. Hey, have you tried making the workplace a more hospitable environment? Have you tried giving employees a reason to actually enjoy and like their job? Have you seen workers? No one wants bad metrics, so they work as hard as is necessary. Similar but good points. Oh yeah, this one was also a nice gem. The solar eclipse will cost America $700 million in lost productivity. Ah, yes, our economic system is designed to ensure that there's no time to appreciate the world around us. This is delusional. Like, who sits there and like genuinely writes articles like this? The solar eclipse will cost America X amount of lost productivity. Bro, are you serious? Yeah, trust fund babies with nothing better to do, I guess. It tracks though. It's from Fox Business. I want to actually see like what oh my god, the actual article is gold. Implying shutting down the economy as in a general strike. One of my favorite quotes tweets of this was, see people, we can flip this mother effer upside down. If 4 minutes did this, imagine taking a week off. I actually want to know what this person, like, this person's background. But, yeah, reading the actual article, it's, yeah. Similar to the viral sensation quiet quitting when employees get the bare minimum done because, that's what they're paid to do, on the job due to burnout and feeling that they're underappreciated. I wonder why that is. Resenteeism captures workers' tendency towards low productivity because they're resentful. No introspection here whatsoever. They realize that they have to stay at their current job because of financial obligations and responsibilities. They're not ready to leave that position for one reason or another. Yeah, it's called wanting to eat. It's called wanting to eat and having a roof over your head. This unproductive mentality is affecting both small businesses and large companies across the country. Fox Business reached out to 3 employment experts about how this autopilot work trend is impacting today's workforce, as well as an individual who admits to practicing resenteeism himself. Jennifer Libby, a district manager with Insperity, Kansas City, and said resenteeism describes employees who remain in roles they find unsatisfying, either because they don't believe they can find a better opportunity. Why is that? Or because they've tried and failed to find the job they want. Why is that? Over time, they begin to resent their employer because they feel trapped in a job that they don't want. Hey, I thought that, wait, isn't the whole, one of the biggest selling points is that you can just get up and leave, right? Like, just go work for somebody else, right? Yeah, it's totally our fault as workers. Yep. If you're a good worker, you just get more of others' work. That's true. That's very true. What caused this disengagement among workers who go on autopilot? Lack of advancement opportunities, a toxic corporate culture, and excessive workload and feeling burnout can all contribute. So, a toxic work environment. Whose fault is that? If employees want to try to escape these factors by searching for a new job but can't find one, they may experience resenteeism. No kidding. The resentment can build over time if they can't find another position while their environment fails to improve. Dominic, 46, a senior manager at a furniture company in Georgia, said his day-to-day routine has become one of regret and resentment due to a lack of engagement at work. He said he's also given more work to do without financial reward. So for privacy reasons, he has to omit his last name. Yeah. People think supply chain issues have slowed down the demand for furniture, but the truth is more people are outfitting their homes because it's just too costly to move. Dominic handles inventory for the company between doing paperwork, managing logistical issues, and handling daily employee squabbles and scheduling. Said he's unhappy in his position. The married father aspires to switch jobs, but with 2 children, he said he can't act responsibly. Yeah. That's why my wife works part-time as a nurse and our fixed expenses are there. I've learned to accept the fact that I have to make the best of a somewhat bad situation, as many Americans are doing now. Prices are rising. Why? Companies are stretched and our choices are not ours to make anymore. What are signs of resenteeism? The signs include lack of passion, decreased engagement, and reduced performance. When employees stop striving for advancement opportunities, that can also be a sign that resenteeism has prevented them from seeing a future at their organization. Our labs have found that employees can have negative reactions, including feeling like they've been taken advantage of, because, like, by definition, they are. Being resentful of people with more flexibility, ? Feeling resentful of employer for allowing it, ? Feeling excluded, feeling inadequate as if they're not good enough to the same flexibility privileges, feeling envious of others. Amid disjointed workplaces, workers can start slowly to disengage and sometimes without even realizing it. Yeah, no, I think, I think most people realize they're telling you that they feel like they have no other options. I'm all fired up. Has had 30 different jobs in his career. Loud quitting for the win. Right, just because. If employees are lacking in advancement or development opportunities, they should ask their manager to create a timeline and set metrics for promotion, or connect them with resources to develop new skills. Yeah. Hey, has anybody actually like in the real world, like, how does this pan out? Like, explain to me how this pans out in the real world. To those who have tried. What does that look like in the real world, huh? They don't offer shit. That's fantasy akin to the way Jesse thinks of wage workers' pay rates. Bingo! Prevention is the best strategy to combat resenteeism. Create a corporate culture that promotes engagement and offer advancement opportunities. Another way of putting it is stop having such a toxic work environment. And if you don't offer a reason for people to be engaged, they're not going to be. Another way of putting it is it's the employer's fault. Okay? Trying you to work somewhere else? F off is how that goes. Right. And like, God forbid, you become too good at your job. Promotion? Nah. I need you right where you are for eternity. You're such a good worker that you need to stay exactly where you are. Human capital stock, exactly. Right, the fix is on. New York appeals judge rejects Trump's third legal challenge to delay hush money criminal trial. New York Appeals Court on Wednesday today denied a third effort in 3 days by Trump's attorneys to put on hold the former president's impending criminal trial. It's happening, folks. Associate Justice Ellen Gessmer for the Appellate Division of the Supreme Court of New York denied Trump's third legal challenge to delay the trial days after a pair of state appeals court judges rejected the similar efforts by Trump on Monday and Tuesday to pause the hush money trial, which is set to begin April 15th next week with jury selection. That's next Monday, folks. That's right. The court docket for the State Appellate Division shows Trump's attorneys filed that challenge as a lawsuit invoking a provision of New York law known as Article 78, which challenges Article 78 challenges allow litigants, whether in ongoing litigation or otherwise, to seek relief from an alleged unlawful state or local government action. The documents were filed under seal. Reiterating the arguments from earlier this week, Trump attorney Emil Bove had argued during a hearing on Wednesday that his client is entitled to a say of proceedings while he challenges what he calls the unacceptable and unconstitutional restrictions handed down by Judge Juan Merchan in a partial gag order last month that was expanded days later. Bove also argued on Wednesday that Merchan's ruling last week that rejected his bid to use presidential immunity as part of his defense, which found the former president waited too long to raise the issue, was in excess of his authority. Quote, "We are entitled to raise this defense." Bove also suggested that Merchan has been operating under an appearance of impropriety, citing the political work by Judge's daughter on behalf of the political firm Authentic Campaigns, which worked with President Biden's campaign in 2020. This is just, man, you're throwing Hail Marys that have absolutely no standing, nothing to do with anything. Rayaka, welcome. He'll pardon himself for everything after he's elected. Going to be tough for toddler Trump to have to sit in court all day. He'll just try to delay until the election. Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Make it to election day at all costs and hope he wins. That's basically the game plan here. That's the Trump legal defense strategy. Delay, and hope he wins the election. I mean, like, even if he wins the election, do these charges, do these criminal trials just go away, or would these criminal trials resume after, like on the hypothetical scenario that he wins the election? On the hypothetical that he wins the election, what actually happens to these criminal trials? Do they just go poof, or do they get paused until he gets out of office? If he pardons himself, everything goes away. Right, but like that's a legal gray area, right? Like, that hasn't ever been attempted. We have not ever crossed that that road where if he like pardons himself, like would that even be possible legally? If he wins, the cases go away, the federal charges get dropped. Huh. Would that be because like he has control of the attorney general and he can like replace the attorney general? He can't pardon the state charges, right? But like the federal ones he can, or we haven't really crossed that legal bridge yet. We've never had that situation in this country. I mean, it would, on its surface, it would seem ludicrous that a president could theoretically be, theoretically be committing crimes, and the former president can be theoretically committing crimes and then just be able to pardon himself by virtue of winning the election. That just doesn't make sense. Yeah, his plan is to die in office. Hopefully our spineless Dems would actually fight. Definitely strange times. He can't pardon state charges, but okay, so yes, if he replaces the attorney general, he can get them to drop the charges. Okay. Jeez. Yeah, that's it. That's the plan, right? Delay, and then hope he wins the election. That's it. The state charges are one thing, but at least the federal ones will basically be done. Lisa Evans, a prosecutor for the Manhattan DA, pushed back, arguing that delaying the trial would cause enormous disruption to delay trial. There's no evidence that Judge Merchant stands to benefit from this trial. Stephen Wood, another prosecutor for the Manhattan DA, also pushed back on this claim, calling the arguments completely meritless and suggesting that delaying the trial could create conflicts with Trump's legal proceedings elsewhere. The hearing got underway shortly after 4 p.m. Eastern. On Monday, Trump filed a separate Article 78 petition with the appellate division seeking to halt the trial by arguing that he can't get a fair trial in Manhattan. Man, they're really just throwing everything that they can possibly throw at and hope something sticks. Things are desperate when the entire defense is literally hinging on them attacking the process in every which shape way that they can. No counter arguments to the actual charges being laid out. Just attacking every single procedure along the way. I can't say, but keep doing what you're doing. It's important. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Mayorkas impeachment trial set to start in the Senate next week, but it may even be over before it begins. House Republicans will delay bringing their case against Mayorkas to the Senate until next week, 2 months after impeaching the Homeland Security Secretary. Will be the third time in 5 years that senators are sworn in as jurors in the court of impeachment. House Speaker Mike Johnson had planned to send the impeachment charges to the Senate on Wednesday, but said Tuesday he would wait until next week as the Republicans try to make a case for a full Senate trial. The Republican-controlled House impeached Mayorkas by a single vote margin on February 13, recommending that Mayorkas be removed from office over his handling of the U.S.-Mexico border with 2 articles of impeachment. The House charges that Mayorkas have willfully and systematically refused to enforce existing immigration law, and breached the public trust by lying to Congress and saying that the border was secure. Unlike former President Trump's 2 impeachment trials, in 2020 and 2021, though, the Senate isn't expected to spend much time considering these charges. Democrats who hold the Senate majority appear to have the votes to immediately dismiss the trial, though Majority Leader Chuck Schumer hasn't yet said what he plans to do. This is a this is kabuki theater. This is kabuki theater. This is nonsense. We're not far from them impeaching a president for saying the state of our union is strong. Lies. Lies. Wearing a tan suit. Yeah, the president has worn a tan suit, which is tantamount to defrauding the American people. Exxon declares wars on its dissenters. The fossil fuel giant is suing investors to intimidate them from ever trying to influence corporate decisions. Late comment, but he's throwing ketchup at the wall. True. This is confirmed and true. ExxonMobil has launched an extraordinary lawsuit against two investment firms for the alleged offense of filing climate-focused shareholder proposals. The same ExxonMobil who says that climate change isn't really happening. The same ExxonMobil who also has made incredible efforts to lie to the public about the effects of its fossil fuels. ExxonMobil, the same company who has engaged in great efforts to silence or to bury the reports that its own scientists have found in the 70s-ish about climate change, about its products, fossil fuels, and the impacts to the climate. Yeah, this ExxonMobil. The fossil fuel giant's underlying goal is killing a federal regulatory effort that would make it easier for all U.S. shareholders to voice environmental and social concerns about the companies that they own. Yeah. Critics say that the company is also trying to intimidate shareholders from ever proposing such resolutions again in the future under threat of being tied up in expensive litigation and incurring punitive financial penalties. Playing a random riff on the mandolin. Oh dear. Alright, we'll see what we can do after this. Heat with the 10 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. If successful, the Exxon lawsuit could set a legal precedent wresting control away from regulators and cracking down on activist investors cracking down on activist investors working to enact more climate-friendly policies. Exxon's unprecedented lawsuit was filed in January in a Republican-dominated judicial circuit that has become the go-to court system for corporate victories. Makes sense. Sending snowmen in case they go extinct. Fair enough. The suit aims to convince judges to supersede financial regulators who have long been responsible for deciding whether publicly traded companies are required to allow shareholder votes on certain resolutions. Even though the shareholders have withdrawn their resolution, Exxon has continued to pursue the suit. According to the complaint, the company is also asking judges to punish the shareholders for following the resolution by forcing them to pay the oil company's attorney fees and further relief as the court may deem just and proper. At issue is a 2020 initiative by President Trump's Security and Exchange Commission, which increased the requirements on how much stockholders must hold and how long they have to hold it to issue proposals, thus raising the barrier to submit proposals. President Biden's SEC has since attempted to roll back these Trump-era initiatives and allows smaller shareholders to bring forth proposals to be voted on by corporate stockholders. But the proposed change has yet to take full effect, and the Exxon lawsuit may weaken the SEC's authority. It's hard to know how the Exxon lawsuit is going to affect the potential SEC rulemaking, but certainly the intended effect of Exxon's actions to try to undermine the authority of the SEC. No surprises there. The CEO of Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility, a faith and values-based organization advocating for more environmentally conscious investing. Exxon's lawsuit, which the Pro-Business Trade Association, Chamber of Commerce, and Business Roundtable supported in an amicus brief, is the latest in a series of attacks on shareholder proposals. But this time, they're really going for the jugular. What they're trying to do is silence shareholder voices, specifically to silence the voices of shareholders who are concerned about climate risk. It's noteworthy that a company like Exxon is so determined to shut down the conversation among shareholders about these long-term risks. Yeah, it really screams. It really screams to the severity of the situation. If you're having these type of responses from Exxon, it's bad. This is really bad. Advocates pushing companies to consider these policies are part of the rise of environmental, social, and governance investing, ESG, a movement that has scored multiple wins in recent years. While some institutions have embraced these progressive principles, which force companies to consider their environmental impacts, focus on diversity of their staff, and even issue reports on political spending and lobbying, corporations and conservative groups have pushed back. Last year, Republican lawmakers established the Republican ESG Working Group with the intent to develop a policy agenda designed to protect the financial interests of everyday investors from progressive activists who are using our institutions to force far-left ideology on Americans. Yeah, true. The far-left ideology of wanting a healthy and clean planet so that we can, checks notes, continue to live. The working group comes after the oil company and other anti-ESG groups spent hundreds of millions of dollars since 2017 lobbying lawmakers on shareholder proposals and other issues. In particular, the political action committees and employees affiliated with Exxon and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce have donated more than $150,000 to the campaign efforts of 9 GOP lawmakers leading the new group, according to the Federal Election Commission data. Hey, wait, which 9 GOP lawmakers? I think that's important, right? Yeah, the far-left ideology of let's not have the planet on fire. Yeah, the far-left ideology of wanting to live, you know. Hey, if it's far-left, if it's a far-left ideology to want a sustainable, habitable planet, right? Because that's the implication here. The far-left ideology that they're talking about is the audacity, right? Is the audacity that there might be activist shareholders who are trying to raise the issue of the climate crisis, right? So by definition, by default, the implication is like far left ideology means apparently caring about the planet, apparently caring about having a stable, habitable ecosystem that keeps us alive, apparently. So what does that say? What does that say about the right wing? In January, Exxon management filed a complaint in a U.S. district court in Texas, which is inside the ultra-conservative Fifth Circuit, rather than following the tradition of asking SEC regulators to let the company exclude the proposal from shareholder voting. The case was assigned to a Trump-appointed judge because, of course, yeah, there you go, death call. It's because it says they're effing ghouls. True. Also true. The activist investor group withdrew their proposals in early February, but Exxon has continued the lawsuit in an attempt to have the business-friendly courts rule in their favor. The oil company claims that shareholder activists' proposals had one purpose: to put us out of business. Profit! To be clear, we support the rights of shareholders to submit proposals, but these rights are increasingly being infringed by activists masquerading as shareholders. Okay. Oh, I love this shirt. Raytheon stole my healthcare. Do they hold shares? Absolutely. So like this is just so asinine. This is just so asinine. Like shareholders? Nah. They're activists masquerading as shareholders. Do they have shares? Yes. So then they're shareholders. They're holding shares. By definition, my dudes, they're holding shares. It's just so like obvious what they're getting at. They're just big mad that that they're being exposed. That's it. That's what this is about. And the reason, like this article points out, that they're going through the whole way is to have it in writing in a rule that they can't do this, which is absurd. Whew. This is just wild. Raytheon, yeah, I would actually like that. I would actually like a t-shirt like this. Raytheon stole my healthcare. On the other hand, advocates consider the lawsuit an infringement on shareholder rights because it discourages shareholders from bringing forward similar proposals in the future. Right, which is the entire point, said Ben Schifrin, the Director of Securities Policies for Better Markets. Better Markets, a consumer advocacy group. Since many shareholders' resolution aims to get management to consider and make concessions on pressing issues, rather than necessarily win a vote, the suit seems tailor-made to shut down any engagement with shareholders critical of Exxon strategies. That's it. That's literally it. They don't like anyone coming in and stopping that. It seems to be designed to prevent not just these shareholders but other shareholders from bringing proposals before their corporation. So if you're another investor, not only do you risk being sued in federal court, but now you risk not being able to avoid that lawsuit even if you give the company what it wants. Exxon's lawsuit strikes directly at the SEC rule governing how shareholders may propose resolutions to be included in companies' proxy statements, and is part of a years-long campaign by many anti-ESG groups to squash shareholders' rights. He added that Exxon seems to be asking the court to interpret the SEC rule in a way that favors the oil company rather than deferring it to the SEC itself. Jeez. Oh, man. Hey, weren't we sold this idea that capitalism is designed to bring more democracy? Weren't we sold this idea that capitalism brings democracy, or capitalism is inherently a democratic system? That's what I was told. Yeah, capitalism thrives on competition. Noted. Noted. That's another one. That's another meme. Capitalism thrives on competition. Another way of putting it, quoting the intellectual titan, one of the intellectual titans of our time. The battlefield of ideas. The free marketplace of ideas. Yeah, it actually fears competitions and tries to kill it in its infancy every time. Yep. Capitalism always wants and strives and inevitably attempts to arrive, if not outright, arrives at monopoly. That's literally the name of the game. That's literally the name of the game. In other words, capitalism is a baby killer. Well, I mean, in the quite literal sense, yes. This lawsuit represents a significant escalation in that campaign. It is one thing to fight over what the SEC rules should or should not be, but now instead of going through the normal process with the SEC and seeking a no-action relief, Exxon is hauling these shareholders into court and making them defend against a federal lawsuit just for trying to bring that proposal, their proposal before their fellow shareholders. Schifrin also said that Exxon lawsuit seeks to prevent Arjuna Capital and follow this from resubmitting similar proposals in the future. The judge overseeing the case is skeptical of Exxon's lawsuit and ordered the oil company to file a status update detailing its claims before the court since the two activist firms rescinded their proposals. As it stands now, the court struggles to see what the ongoing case or controversy is in this matter, and given the only relief sought from the court was a declaration that Exxon may exclude defendants' proposals from its annual shareholder meeting, the judge wrote earlier in February. Exxon has asked the judge to continue the lawsuit because the underlying issue of Arjuna Capital and follow this, resubmitting their proposals after they have previously failed, remains and must be resolved. Exxon, Arjuna Capital, and follow this did not respond to requests for comments. The current model for environmental, social, and governance investing has been around for decades, and its roots in the anti-apartheid movement in the 1980s. Advocates say a core component of the investment strategy is urging companies to consider the long-term effects of their business practices rather than just work to maximize short-term profits. My brethren in Christ, I have bad news. These people only are able and capable of caring, of maximizing short-term profits. That's it. Yeah, to ask these companies to actually look at the long-term effects of their business practices is incompatible with the way that they are operating. ESG investing took off in the 2010s as investors began pushing corporations to adopt climate change policies in line with the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement that sought to limit the global temperature to 1.5 and achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2100, among other goals. Yeah, not happening. Not happening. Some of these ESG proposals have paid off. A 2020 report by Morgan Stanley found that ESG related investment in 2023 generated almost double the returns compared to investment funds that don't focus on ESG. According to Morningstar Financial Services firm, ESG investing has begun to wane in popularity recently due to high interest rates, supply chain disruptions, and notably continued political scrutiny of sustainable and ESG strategies. Right. So yeah, another way of putting it is that they don't care. That's not that it's their only skill. They're legally required to do it. They're not allowed to choose anything else. Right. They have they legally have a fiduciary responsibility to make profit. That is literally it. If they don't fulfill that, they could be held legally liable. Yes, you are correct. Or whatever it's called. Civilly responsible. I don't know the right term. But yeah, they have a fiduciary responsibility Yeah. Since it was founded in 2013, Arjuna Capital, which describes itself as an investment firm focused on sustainability, has been filing ESG-related shareholder proposals with Exxon every year. In 2014, Exxon agreed to issue a report detailing its climate change-related financial risk after Arjuna and other activist groups filed a shareholder proposal on the matter. In 2019, New York State Attorney General's office sued Exxon, accusing the oil company of misleading investors about the financial risk of climate change. Natasha Lamb, a co-founder of Arjuna Capital, testified against Exxon. These allegations are in no small part informed by the climate change disclosures negotiated by Arjuna Capital just over 5 years. Arjuna Capital wrote in a statement to its clients at the time. Exxon was ultimately cleared of wrongdoing, with the judge stating that the lawsuit was a securities fraud case, not a climate change case. These activist shareholder firms have since scored other wins. In 2021, a majority of Microsoft shareholders voted to demand the tech company better address workplace sexual harassment complaints after Arjuna Capital brought this proposal forward. That same year, Engine Number One, another activist hedge fund focused on decarbonization, led a successful effort to replace 3 Exxon board members. But in 2020, the shareholder activists faced a major setback when the SEC Trump-appointed commissioner adopted new rules that dramatically increased the amount of stock an investor must hold to propose a resolution and limited how often a failed resolution can be resubmitted. Before then, investors had to hold at least $2,000 worth of stock for 1 year before they could propose a resolution for other shareholders to vote on. The new rules implemented by the Trump-era SEC required the shareholders to own at least $25,000, Jesus Christ, for 1 year, $15,000 for 2 years, or $2,000 for 3 years before filing a proposal. The Trump-run SEC also implemented stricter requirements for resubmitting failed shareholder proposals. In order for these proposals to be included again in a company's proxy statement, they now had to have received at least 5% support from other shareholders during the first vote. During the first vote, 15% support in the next year's vote, and 25% in the third year's vote. Previously, the resubmission rule called for 3%, then 6%, then 10%, respectively. In a written comment to the SEC in 2020 regarding the proposed rule change, Exxon stated that reviewing a single shareholder proposal could cost the company more than $100,000, and that it had received 16 shareholder proposals a year since 2000. In its comment, Exxon highlighted how Arjuna wants to shrink Exxon, and that follow this has called efforts a Trojan horse to push companies to stop exploring for more oil and gas. Yeah. Exxon supported the proposed rule change, as did the Business Roundtable and the investment firm BlackRock. No surprises there. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce joined them, calling the changes long overdue. The Commission's prudential guardrails have steadily weakened, and the shareholder proposal system today has unnecessarily devolved into a free-for-all that a small minority of interests use to advance idiosyncratic agendas at the expense of Main Street investors. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. The Chamber wrote to the SEC, however, according to Dennis Kelleher, president of Better Markets, the proposed changes in 2020 were a radical move that would silence smaller shareholders and disqualify many proposals. The proposed rule change arbitrarily and capriciously ignores benefits offered by shareholder proposals, Kelleher wrote to the SEC in 2020, adding that the estimated cost for proposals cited by Exxon and others were utterly unsubstantiated claims. No surprises there. Before the 2020 rule change, SEC commissioners met with anti-ESG stakeholders behind the scenes, including representatives from the Chamber of Commerce and investment firms Vanguard, Goldman Sachs, and T. Rowe Price. Nice. Cool. In 2023, Vanguard and T. Rowe received praise from the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, a right-wing nonprofit, for pushing back against ESG-related initiatives, and Goldman Sachs recently blocked a shareholder proposal asking the firm to report its clients' climate change commitments. Since Biden took office, the current SEC attempted to roll back the 2020 rule changes by issuing a legal bulletin directing SEC staff to no longer focus on determining the nexus between a policy issue and the company when examining proposals focused on social issues. Instead, staff are directed to focus on whether the proposal raises issue with the broad societal impact, such as they transcend the ordinary business of the company. The Biden-run SEC is also considering a formal change to bring back the pre-2020 shareholder proposal rules, but the agency is facing stiff opposition and deep-moneyed pockets. Exxon has spent more than $34 million since 2017 lobbying lawmakers and regulators on corporate governance, shareholder proposals, and voting, and a slew of other issues, disclosures show. $34 million since 2017. Man. That's, 6 years? Something like that? 7 years? Money well spent. According to regulatory filings, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has sent more than $420 million, Jesus Christ, since 2017 in lobbying Congress, the SEC, the Treasury Department, and other federal agencies on shareholder proposals, corporate governance, and other issues. The Business Roundtable has spent more than $23 million lobbying several of the same entities since 2017. These companies have an enormous amount of influence over politicians and spend money at the federal, state, and local levels. In comments, said Zinner with the Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility. In comments to the SEC, the Business Roundtable called the Biden administration's proposed rule rollback ill-conceived, claiming that changes would result in further abusive shareholder proposals processed by a smaller number of proponents or embolden a wider body of shareholders to submit proposals that may unnecessarily burden companies with with overly prescriptive ways and means of achieving certain results which may have already been obtained through different, more appropriate means. Yeah. Okay. In their amicus brief supporting the Exxon lawsuit, the Chamber of Commerce and the Business Roundtable took aim at the SEC's proposed leniency. They wrote that the SEC has assumed a central role in the rise of ESG-motivated shareholder proposals and that the agency shirked its responsibility to block proposals focused on political and social issues. The SEC stance has not only encouraged a new surge of ideologically driven proposals, forcing companies to devote even more time and money to controversial social and political topics that have nothing to do with creating value of shareholders. I mean, I think we can kind of just end it there, right? Like, that's a perfect end to that right there, right? Because it really encapsulates what this is all about, huh? Yeah, the ideology of staying alive, the far left ideology, the radical activist ideology. Being ethical is a bridge too far. True. Quote, the lawsuit is an attempt to intimidate shareholders who are concerned about long-term climate risks, he said, but I think it's also an attempt to push back on agency rulemaking and guidance that Exxon disagrees with, and it is an attempt to undermine the authority of the SEC more broadly. Yeah. Controversial social and political topics like, staying alive. Which, of course, has nothing to do... I mean, this kind of like... This is just wild, right? Like, if you really just kind of soak it in. The controversial and social political topics like, the climate crisis, which currently is putting everybody at risk. We don't need to be forced. Okay, our company doesn't need to be forced to devote any more time and money in all of this nonsense, because it has nothing to do with creating value for the shareholders. Yeah. Or another way of putting it is that having a stable planet, a stable, habitable planet, is incompatible. Okay. It's actually a waste of time. It is incompatible with the idea of creating value, i.e., the dollar, the line needs to continue going up. These two things are incompatible in our view, and the only thing that's important out of those two is the line going up. And this is supposed to be a selling point of capitalism? This is supposed to be the selling point of capitalism? Man. I've got one more, folks. I've got time for this one more article. Two far-right conspiracy theorists to pay up $1.25 million for the robocall campaign. Hey, do you remember these two clowns? Because I certainly forgot about them. I forgot about them. Two far-right conspiracy theorists will have to pay up $1.25 million in fines for launching a robocall campaign to discourage black New York voters from participating in the 2020 election. Said the New York Attorney General on yesterday. Jacob Wohl of Irvine, California, and Jack Berkman of Arlington, Virginia, were found liable in March of 2023 for targeting about 5,500 black voters as part of the robocall scheme. And I thought Wohl before I even saw the headline. I completely forgot about this clown. But yeah. Under the latest settlement agreement, Wohl and Berkman will pay more than $1 million to New York Attorney General's office and the National Coalition of Black Civic Participation, and individuals harmed in the robocall campaign. The three parties filed a lawsuit against Wohl and Berkman in 2021 after an investigation by the Attorney General's office found that the pair had broken several state and federal laws. Yeah, talk about vile election interference. Yep. It's Jacob Wohl and his partner in crime. I remember that loser. Yep. The New York, callers were falsely told that their personal information would be added to a public database used by police departments and used by police departments to track outstanding warrants for for mandatory COVID vaccinations. Phenomenal. One call claimed to come from a spokesperson for a civil rights organization founded by Wohl and Berkman, according to a script shared in the press release. Quote, mail-in voting sounds great, but did you know that if you vote by mail, your personal information will be part of a public database that will be used by police departments to track down old warrants and used by credit card companies to collect outstanding debts? What? The CDC is even pushing to use records for mail-in voting to track people for mandatory vaccines, a thing that was never a thing. Then the call then warned that voters should not be finessed into giving your private information to the man and should beware of voting by mail. One voter suffered severe anxiety and distress from the robocalls and later withdrew his voter registration. Jesus freaking Christ. Yikes. To address the robocall's false claims, the NCBCP used considerable resources to reach the misinformed voters. In Tuesday's release, the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, called the robocall scheme depraved. He tried to say Elizabeth Warren had an affair and abused the man physically as if Warren had that much imagination. Really? Jeez. Yikes. In Tuesday's release, the New York Attorney General, Letitia Peekaboo James, called the robocall scheme depraved. Wohl and Berkman orchestrated a depraved and disinformation-ridden campaign to intimidate black voters into an attempt to sway the election in favor of their preferred candidate. These men engaged in a conspiracy to suppress black votes in 2020. In the 2020 general election, said NCBCP President Melanie Campbell in Tuesday's press release. They used intimidation and scare tactics attempting to spread harmful disinformation about voting in an effort to silence black voices. Their conduct cannot and will not be tolerated. The settlement agreement is the latest punishment for Wohl and Berkman, who had ran similar schemes in at least 2 other states. Wohl and Berkman were previously ordered to complete 500 hours of registering voters in lower-income neighborhoods by an Ohio judge after pleading guilty to charges in connection with the similar robocall campaign. Wohl and Berkman also face additional charges in Michigan. Nice! Yeah, they are dirty tactics. He's got a whole history of failed grifts. Yep. I completely forgot about this guy and his accomplice. And they had to do it in clan gear. That's just their Sunday dresses. I didn't mean to intimidate. That physical abuse is ever okay. Just that Warren runs on a certain track and doesn't vary from it. Yeah, I understand. These people are pretty freaking nasty. So yeah, they're not below making stuff up like that. That's okay. I understand nasty humor and appreciate it, but that's just me. Hopefully, we don't hear any more from these clowns. But you love to see it. All right, folks, I gotta get going. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you, Heat. Actually, wait, one more thing before we go. Thank you. Shout out to Carpet. One more thing before we go. We do have a mandolin riff that we're supposed to make. So let's see if we can make it happen. One second. Yeah, it's a Mando. All right. See if I can see if I can do this. I haven't touched this in a while. Nice Bernie Funko. Yeah, he stays behind me. You got the little crab rave, the fantastic drawing sent in. Bernie's got your back. With the Bernie Funko underneath, you can't see it, but underneath the Bernie Funko, there's a like a recreation of the original opening like selection of the Pokemon game where you like choose your starter. There's like a little recreation of that of that scene. There, the two cats, the two duckies that are shaped like cats. Oh wait, no, only one. Sorry, this one is shaped like a cat. And it happens to also have the same tuxedo. It's a tuxedo cat shaped duck, and that's supposed to represent Paquita. That other duck next to it is supposed to represent me, because I always have the beanie and the sunglasses when I'm out and about. The little Among Us guy is in the back too. I don't know if you can see it, but I still have my little Christmas tree. Just kind of barely in shot there. See if I remember how to even play this thing. I haven't played it in a while. Okay. Oh, wait, close. Oh, I actually like that note. I don't know what this is, but it sounds nice. It sounds so happy and resolved. That sounds like how it's supposed to end. I like this note. This chord, I should say. Yeah, that sounds like a riff to me. Yeah, I think that sounds like a riff to me. Does that sound like a riff, like a complete riff? I think so. I could just also alternate it. Yeah. All right. I think that counts as a riff. Okay. Riff complete. Riff was made. I think. That's my personal opinion. Yes, movie nights. That's right. We'll talk about that. Before we go, folks, we have a few things. First and foremost, thank you guys for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the follows. As Heat pointed out, join the Discord, folks. Join the Discord. It's the best way to keep up with the channel. There's some cool people in the Discord. There's now polls that we can now do for movie nights. We do movie nights once officially on the last Saturday of every month, about 6 p.m. And there may or may not be unofficial movie nights as well. So join the Discord for those cool events. Prime took away their watch parties. Yeah, that's okay. That's why we have Discord. That's why we have Discord. If you want to support the channel, there are many ways you can do so. Don't forget, the folks on the YouTube, like the stream. It really does help us out. I appreciate it. I see you. Thank you. Subscribe. It really does help us. We're at 252 subscribers. Thank you. I appreciate that. And like or follow here on Twitch, and consider checking out the merch store at !merch. That really does help us out, and you can also support the channel while wearing some cool stuff. That being said, folks, I got to get out of here. It's about to be 8 o'clock. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Viana, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Spread the word, folks, and bring a friend. Have a great night. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. See ya. Ooh, I almost messed up the outro song there. Hang tight, folks. All right, folks, please consider supporting Cosmopolitics. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.